Right, hiya, this is going to be a really difficult video to make, and it's actually one I'm really nervous in filming. I've tried to make this video several times, not only today, this is like my fourth or fifth attempt today, but tried to make it a few days back. I had a lot of attempts, and I even got one final attempt which I actually put onto my computer all ready to upload. Then I watched it back on my laptop and I was just like, I haven't worded that right. I'm not proud of that. I don't want to upload it because it just sounds so weird. The reason I'm so nervous, like I haven't been this nervous in making a video since like my first videos where I was like new to YouTube, so I just didn't know what to say. And if you go back and watch those videos, you'll realise how nervous I am because I'm just stumbling over everything. I'm really clenched and just really nervous because back then, there was nobody to watch my videos. I thought, who the hell's going to watch this? And I was always afraid that people I knew were going to watch my videos and find me out. It's why my channel name is Cookie Monster rather than my real name, because I didn't want people to be able to type in my name and then find me. So that's why it's not my name. And yeah, so now I'm doing this video, which is also very personal. And I know there's a few people that I know in real life that watch my videos, so the fact that I'm talking about this too, and I'm going to see them is a bit weird. But the reason I wanted to do this video is because especially recently, I've had a lot of comments on my past videos and like older videos saying, I know you're asexual and all that, but do you masturbate? Do you wank? Do you release, as it were? And I think I'll stick to the term release because it sounds a lot more professional. And so the answer to that is no, I do not masturbate. I said I'd stick to the word release and now I say masturbate straight after. But no, I do not masturbate. I've never, in my life, I've never had an urge to. Just in the same way as towards sex, I've just never had an urge to masturbate. I've never wanted to. The idea of it turns me off like hugely, just like the idea of sex does. And that's sort of the reason why. I'm going to tell a few stories into like past experiences, and especially on my teenage years and when I went through puberty and the idea of masturbation and how like my peers viewed it in comparison to myself. So when I was quite young, so this is the first story I'm going to tell, which is when I was like 14 years old. I think it was 14. I had my first ever wet dream. I'd obviously never masturbated before, and my body got rid of basically excess, let's just stick with that, and to get rid of it, because I never had wank before, even though I was very young still, a fair number of people haven't masturbated at age, although they probably have been nowadays, people seem to have sex at like 12, 13 nowadays, it's weird. But anyway, so I'd never done it at that age, so one day I woke up very, very early in the morning, because it was back then, because I went to school and stuff, I would always wake up really early, and it was like 6 a.m. and just woke up and it was just obviously sticky everywhere. I'd wet the bed, as it were, but not due to urine, and I was speechless, and I just wanted to clear it up, and it made me panic so much. Like I was like really trembly, and I was crying. It made me cry, and I ended up because I really wanted to clean it up. I went into the bathroom to clear it up, and it made me panic. So I just sat on the floor and I just started crying, and I was really freaking loud. And I woke my sister up first, and my sister came out the room just to see me freaking naked in the bathroom, just there, like trying to clean this up, because I hated it. I hated the experience, and once my sister woke my mum up as well, who saw to me, and my mum explained what it was, explained why I had it. I was still, it was new to me, but I hated it. And even after I was explained to what it was, this is a wet dream, Alex, this happens when blah blah blah. Even when I was explaining that, and I had future ones, it still caused me the same level of distress, and just hated them. And I'd always panic about them. I'd lose sleep over it, because I was just thinking, fuck, I don't want another one of those. But over time, because they happen like monthly, I'd say. About nowadays they happen like once every 2 months, maybe once every 3. They don't happen that often. But I've got used to it, so I just know what it's about. I still don't like it. I hate it. I don't feel like, oh, that's really cool. I hate it. You know, I want to clean myself up as quick as possible because I don't like it. The dreams are really nice beforehand. I do like the dreams, I'm not going to lie. But the aftermath I just hate, and I've always hated that, and I've hated the idea of it. But that's what happens because and then the next story that leads perfectly into the next story I'm going to tell is when I was 15 or 16. My friends started speaking about masturbating, and they started speaking about you know, how often they wank basically. And I was there just like, oh, I've never done it before. I've never wanked before. They were like, nah, you must have. It's complete bullshit. And they thought I was saying it for attention. And obviously, I've heard about masturbating before they told me. But back then, I thought it was like, you know, like a joke. And I thought it was like, you know, if I did this, then my penis would fall off. So I thought this was what my friends were doing. I thought that like they were talking about this just because it was like a joke going around the school. So they were trying to get me to do it, and then if I did it, then something bad would happen. Like I'll come in next day, and you know my penis would have fallen off. So it was stupid. It was completely irrational for me to think this, but because I had no urge to do it, and because there was nothing there that what made me want to do it. So of course, I was going to think that what they were talking was like, well, I have no urge to do this. You know, this isn't a thing that everyone likes. So I thought they were all making it up. But it turns out it is. Once I searched it up, obviously, I found that 99% of guys had masturbated in their lives. And to think that I was part of that, like less than 1% actually, that didn't masturbate, I began feeling very, very alone. So I wanted to try it. And I kept, you know, making myself turned on through creating scenarios in my head or whatever, you know, getting myself turned on. Because I still get turned on by the feel of my body and all of that. So, but I don't like pornography or stuff like that. So I make myself turned on by perhaps like creating scenarios in my head or something. Or even when I woke up in the morning. And I would go to try it. But whenever I went to try it, like because it was such a turn off to me, and the action of it and the movement of it was such a turn off, it always resulted in me, you know, not being hard. So it obviously meant that I couldn't, and it happened every single freaking time, and it got me so freaking angry at myself. And I'm like, what the fuck am I like this? You know, at the time I was 15, 16 years old. So you know, at the time, and you know, I did get so annoyed by it and so upset. But I did at the time think that I would grow into it perhaps, you know, I know all my friends are all like this, but perhaps when I'm 17, 18, you know, I'll begin to like it at least. But obviously time went on, and I'm 22 now, and I still feel the same way about it. I've still never, you know, masturbated like voluntarily. It all happens in my sleep, it always has. I've never done it where just myself I've released, as it were. That's never even happened once in my whole life. And to think that I can say that as a 22-year-old, I think I'm in a huge minority. Even more so than being asexual. I think it's even in a smaller minority than that. And do I like that? Am I proud of that? No, I'm not proud of that. You know, masturbating's healthy. It's what a lot of people do. It's a healthy thing, but I just can't seem to. You know, if I needed ever to, you know, have tests done on, you know, my sperm or whatever, then you know, I would need to perhaps do that, or, you know, it's the easiest way to do that anyway. And to think that, you know, I'd have to turn around and say, you know, I've never actually done it before and I always have struggled to. I think it's something that a lot of people don't understand, and, you know, it's something that I don't tell a lot of people. I'm much more confident in coming out, saying like, yes, I'm asexual, I'm stuff like that. But to say this is just a whole nother ball game, and it's just something different because a lot of asexuals still do masturbate, you know. And it's true, and to think that I never have is something very, very rare. So yeah, that I wanted to share that story, and I think I got that across a lot better than last time. I'm not sure what the point is I'm trying to make. I just wanted to be as open and honest about my experiences, because a lot of people have asked, and even in recently, like people I know have asked, that have recently found out, you know, I'm asexual. So, like, oh, do you masturbate then? Do you like that? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not trying to, you know, generalize that to all asexuals, because, like I said earlier, like a lot still do masturbate. It's just the way that I am. I don't know why that's the case. I don't choose to be that way. As I say, when I was younger, especially, I just kept trying because I wanted to fit in. And honestly, I wish I did, and I wish I did get. you know, urges can be distracting and stuff like that, but I wish I had had the urge. You know, I wish I knew what it was like, because I watched a film not that long ago, and it was called Late Bloomer, and you know, in that film, he said quotes things like, you know, can you even class yourself as an adult if you don't like sex? Can you even say that you've lived if you don't like sex and stuff like that? And it's basically like this guy that, because he feels down when because he's never experienced sex before, he's never experienced the urge to masturbate, because he's got a tumour in his head, and then it's not until he's 30 years old, where he gets that tumour removed, that he begins to feel like, yeah, fuck, you know, I suddenly got an urge to have sex and to masturbate, and then he does at 30 years old, and he can't stop masturbating. I'm like, I've never had that. I've never had that urge, so perhaps there's something wrong with me, you know? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know your own experiences. If you're open about it, then feel free to put it in the comments. I'd love that. But if not, you know, if you just wanted to talk to me about it, or just wanted to message me, then I'll leave my links to my Instagram and my Snapchat in the description. I don't know what that movement was. It was trying to say the description, but it looked pathetic, as always. And yeah, I'll speak to you very soon.